And
that was the worst summary ever. Because I can't make a choice to save my life. So, Colbert, obviously.
Oh my God.
We still don't have bloopers. Why? Holy cricket!
Oh my God.
Oh my God! Yes. Maybe one day I will have to choke him because sometimes he annoys me.
What?
I think Bates is the one who knows more about Cora and Robert's relationship than anybody else. Hi guys, and welcome to my new show. I'm Emma. If some of you have listened to my previous podcast, Shall We Go Through? Well, it's me. Only that now you can see me if you watch this video. And I wanted to create a second show because, so if you don't know, Shall We Go Through? It's a podcast where I talk about Downton Abbey. Well, I talk about every episode of Downton Abbey. And I wanted to do something a bit different because I love Downton, but I love other things. And I wanted to do something sometimes, have a chat with some of my friends. And I wanted to make some episodes in French because I'm French. And yeah, to change a bit. So I wanted to make a new show where you have a video too. So you can have subtitles. Because if I make some episode in French and you don't understand French, it's best if you have subtitles. Anyway, so this is my new show. Shall we talk about it? And to start, I thought I would start with an episode on Downton Abbey. I know. It's not very logical, but I thought then to make a bit of a transition. So if you if you already are listening to Shall We Go Through, it would not be like an episode of Shall We Go Through, it'd be a bit different. And if you don't know this podcast, well, it's, you can listen to it if you want, or it's just something new. So yeah, and every episode will have a different intro and outro because I want to make something fun. And so, and I will make an episode a month, I think. And yes, so let's start.
Welcome to Downton.
I am racy.
What?
You're a bitch!
I'm not convinced I can be hearing this right.
Have you changed your pills?
She can call me Donk. What a very disturbing thought.
Here we go.
Downton Abbey. Shall we talk about it? Yes, we shall. Hi guys! Well, it's still me. So for this first episode about Downton Abbey, I thought it was going to be more fun to be with a friend. So I asked my dear friend Sofiane to be here.
Hi guys.
If you have listened to my special episode on Downton Abbey, A New Era, on the podcast Shall We Go Through?
I was there.
Yeah, it was chaotic. You don't have to.
You don't have to listen to this.
It was our first impressions of the movie after watching
a couple of days after we watched it. Yeah.
Like for the 7th time for me, the 4th time for you. Anyway,
something like that.
But since he's also a fan of Downton Abbey, and
I introduced you to Downton Abbey.
Yes, so. And he's one of my only friends who was available. So yeah, that's why. So he would ask me some questions, and I don't know the questions.
Yeah, she has no idea.
Yeah.
I hope these are good questions because I'm not sure, but we'll see. It might be fun.
And I'm here with my.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you willing to answer any question? Because I won't take no for it. I'm not gonna take no for an answer.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go.
Okay.
First of all, I would like you to introduce Downton Abbey.
Oh shit.
Very, very briefly.
Okay.
Like, what is it? Maybe a very quick word on the plot. Some characters, like the principal characters. Where it takes place, history dates.
Okay.
Something like that.
So it's a TV show, but there's also 2 movies. But first it's a TV show, 6 seasons. 52 episodes.
You have on the background this.
Yeah. So, it's about a British aristocrat, a British family from the aristocracy.
Mm-hmm.
It starts in 1912, and you follow their life with their servants from 1912 to 1926 for the show, and the movies went. The first is 1927, 1928, something like that.
Okay.
Something like that. Okay. The main characters, there are 50. There's 15
a lot.
Characters.
I know. I'm sorry.
Well, so you have the family. So you have Lord Grantham, Robert. You have his wife, Lady Grantham, Cora. They have 3 girls, Mary, Edith, and Sybil.
Mm-hmm.
And no boys, so there's an issue there because it's supposed to be an heir, and
Yeah, that's the whole
that's
thing
the whole
about,
plot. It starts
like,
like that. It's supposed
who's the heir, who's gonna inherit Downton
Yeah,
Abbey.
because Titanic, you have seen the movie, Jack, Rose, all that.
There was also Patrick in it.
The heir, and he's dead, so
Poor
who's going
thing.
to inherit the estate? And there's this new heir.
Yeah,
Matthew.
because there is only 3 girls, so it's not possible for them to inherit.
Yeah,
So they're gonna bring Matthew in.
and he was a country solicitor, and he arrives with his mother, and in the family you also have the grandmother, the Dowager Countess, so Robert's mom,
Maggie
Violet,
Smith.
Maggie Smith, McGonagall, whatever you want. Yeah, and then you're like, oh, will Mary want to marry Matthew? And then you're like, oh my
And
god.
it all starts from here.
Yeah,
And then you lose control.
because then there's a war and all that. And then from the servants, you have like the butler. So Carson is like the daddy from downstairs. You have Mrs. Hughes. She's the housekeeper. She's like the mommy from downstairs. And Mrs. Patmore, she's also a bit of a mommy. She's the cook. And then you have
Yeah.
like ladies' maids and valets. And you have troubles because new valet arrives, but he walks with a stick. So you're like, oh, how can you do his job? And oh my god. But he stays because him and Anna, they fall in love, and
Yeah.
you have a lot of stories, and you have baddies, obviously, like O'Brien, Thomas, because they like to smoke and plot together. Like,
That's basically season 1.
I
Love
mean,
it.
it's very difficult. There's too many characters just
Yeah, I
to
know.
about all of them.
But it's so interesting because you follow them through so many years, and so you see them evolve in so many things and go through so many things.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. And when did it air exactly? Do you know?
It started September 26th. Yes, 26, 2010. If my remember
Okay,
correctly.
wow. The day even.
Because it was recent. I mean,
Bravo.
we should that early October, so that was
Yeah.
really recent, the 12th anniversary of Downton
Okay,
Abbey.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then perfect. And
That was the worst summary ever.
no, I loved it.
Okay.
Like, you should watch the series if you didn't.
Well, yes, obviously, there's going to be spoilers in this video.
Oh, yeah.
So if you haven't watched Downton Abbey and you
Careful.
don't want to know what's going to happen, don't watch that, okay? And if you don't care, you can, but I'm just saying.
Okay, so how did you start watching it? Tell us the whole tea.
Well, it's because of you.
Yeah,
But
but I'm so great.
It's a long story that I will try to cut short.
Okay.
I know that you've been talking about it for a while, at least since 2015, I know, because I went to see Cinderella with Lily James, and you said
Yeah.
something about, but Lily James, she's in the show called Downton Abbey and all that.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched it at the time because what was I doing? I think I was,
2017?
no, 2015. I don't know. Yes,
15? Oh my god.
Yes, we had our big exams at the end of high
Oh,
school
yeah.
too, and then you work and you're like, I'm not going to
Yeah,
start
you
a
were
new show
caught
now.
up in school.
Yeah, and then lots of things happened in
With-
life. And then we went together to see Beauty and the Beasts in 2017.
Okay, that's when.
And that's when, because if you don't know, in Beauty and the Beast, you have Dan Stevens, who's the Beast. But Sofiane didn't
Matthew.
know that he was the Beast until the end of the movie.
And I
And
was
this
like,
is one of the funniest moments that...
Matthew, what are you doing here?
And I knew that he wasn't it because I like to watch interviews before when I see movies. I like to watch interviews. So I knew that he was in Downton, but I haven't watched Downton back then. And I thought, okay, this is a sign. You have to start Downton.
Yeah.
And I started.
You had no idea how far it would go, right?
No, I remember I started, and I remember I was like, oh my god, it was on Netflix at the time, and I binge watched the first 3 seasons. I remember I started when the school year was over, so around May,
Yeah.
because in
I remember.
in uni it ends around May,
Exactly.
and then we were working together during summer, and apparently I was
She was
watching-
obsessed. She was obsessed.
And I was
so
watching it during
even
breaks.
on break, during breaks, she would watch it on her phone, and
and I
Yeah,
was
that was
watching
something.
episode 5 of season 3, the
So-
one where Sybil gives birth.
yeah,
And
I do remember.
well, it was awful. And I remember, so I finished season 3 and I thought, okay, no, No, this is too much for me. Like in 2 weeks, I was like only watching that, and season 3 completely destroyed me. So I thought I need to take a break, and then
Yeah.
school started again. So I haven't. I think it took me a couple of months to
okay.
finish it because school started again. I had other things to watch,
Yeah.
and I knew that I was going to binge watch it, and I was not ready actually to go into a world without Matthew, Sibyl, and all that. And then I watched it, and I binge watched the last 3
Yeah.
seasons. And I remember because when I was watching at that time, there was already a rumor about the movie
Ooh.
already because there were rumors, and
Wow.
I remember then when the movie came out, so in 2019, I rewatched everything because I needed to be
Great.
ready.
Perfect. But well, I was about to ask, how many times did you watch it completely?
Completely. So completely because
Yeah, you're currently watching it for the podcast.
yes.
Right? So you're not done yet.
Completely, I think 4.
4 times. Yeah.
Completely, yeah,
Wow.
without just watching pieces of episodes because
Yeah.
sometimes I don't know.
Mm.
But for the podcast, I watch each episode 3 times.
Wow.
So season 1 to
That's
3, I'm
dedication.
7th. Oh yes, episode 5 as season 3. It was very dedication. It was very hard.
You go 3 times through that? Okay.
Yes, I did. But yeah, I think but
It's
sometimes.
reasonable. That's good.
But then I've read the script book for season 1, 2, and 3 more than once. So I think like I've watched season 1,
yeah,
2,
you
3
know
like
it by heart.
the first 3 seasons. I mean, I'm okay. But because the podcast, so we just finished season 3.
Mhm.
So
So you're gonna go through 4, 5, 6,
I
and
can't wait.
like watch it like
Well, season
again
4,
and
I
again.
don't know if I'm really excited. There's
Yeah.
too many things that I don't like in this season.
Okay.
But then season 5, I am really excited for season 5
Okay.
and season 6.
Perfect.
Okay.
So do you remember your first impression of the series when you started it? Like, let's say beginning of season 1, where you hooked up on the go or
I remember I hooked up
right
pretty
away?
quickly.
Yeah.
In the first episode, it just takes you the time to try to remember who is who because there's so many characters.
Yeah, there is many. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I was hooked up because there was already, this question of heirs, and I like the end when you're introduced to Matthew and you want to know more.
Yeah.
And already you had this thing about the Duke and Thomas, where like the kiss, like, oh my
Yes.
God, something.
Right from the start.
And Bates and Anna and then Robert stopping the car. Like there
Yeah.
were, a lot of things that were interesting.
Things
but
are
I
happening
remember,
in that house.
yeah, I remember but really, the moment I said, okay, this is going to be like something was after I watched episode 3. And I remember I did 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, episode 3 is really surprising.
I think
And I was really surprised myself. Like, really, you don't expect something like that on a show like that.
First, I remember watching, I was like, oh, 4, what are you doing? Because I watched Divergent. I was like, oh, yes. And I loved him. And I watched this episode, like, I'm not sure I love you anymore. But yeah, no, I think. But I remember when I watched it, I made my mother and my sister watch it. And we started episode 1 and they loved it. Episode 2, and my mom says, maybe episode 3. I said, yeah, let's go into episode 3. And they were like, okay, that's it. Like, we're in it.
Yeah. Season 1 is really good.
I love season 1. It's really good.
Like it's really, really a good first season. Okay. Did you recommend Downton Abbey to a lot of friends and family? And who watched it? Like, who started it?
My mom and my sister, we watched it together. And we watched it in English because I said, there's no way I'm watching this in French. I tried for like 2 minutes. I said, please no.
Yeah, no, that's no.
Awful. I can't. And at first my mom was like, oh, so I have to read subtitles. Like, she likes to do things while watching
Same
TV.
with my mom. Same.
She likes to to knit in front of the TV. So she hates when she has absolutely to like watch the screen.
Yeah, read.
But she was hooked up. Like she loved it. And it's funny because every night she's like, oh, are we going to continue Downton Abbey? Like she was, and my sister was like, no, I can't. I have to watch that. Oh, no, I want to see what's happening next. And then it's funny because then she would talk about it with my father, who has no idea.
What
and
is
she would
it?
explain, and my mom is not the best at explaining things, so she would explain things. But it would be like,
that,
okay,
that
okay.
must be so funny.
Yeah.
Like I picture it.
Then, well, I tried to ask my best friend, so other friend, Catherine, to watch it, and she watched it.
She did, yeah.
And she actually wants to watch it again, so let's
Oh.
hope. And another friend of mine, I know she watched it in French because one day she said she went to me say, "Well,
sad.
I was so sad when Mathieu died." I was like, "Excuse me, who? Mathieu? Who is that?" And
Okay.
another friend of mine who also loved it, my friend Lucia. Yeah. So yeah, I quite asked a lot of friends to watch it. I was like, "Watch, so
Yeah.
good." But usually it's people that are already interested in period dramas because there's so many people that they're like, I don't like it. We tried, I think, another friend of ours, but she doesn't really like British accent, which is why I love. This is
She
the
wasn't-
reason why I wanted
She
to watch
wasn't,
Downton.
on it, yeah.
But I think
She
yeah,
stopped.
but because people think that period dramas are boring, and I don't know why, because it's the opposite of boring.
Yeah, totally not.
But yeah, no, I think if I think about all the people I talked about, they all liked it. Not maybe as obsessed as I am,
No,
but they liked
no
it.
one is as obsessed as you are.
That's
a compliment almost.
I lost you a
Yeah.
long time
No,
ago, I think.
I'm behind. But in your opinion, what makes Downton Abbey like a really good series? Like, what are the characteristics that makes it a real as a series, like or a show?
I think first there's a lot of characters.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of characters upstairs and downstairs. So I think
Which makes it not boring at all.
yeah, but also because they're all different. So it's for sure you at least have one favorite character.
Yeah, or you're gonna relate to
Yeah,
someone.
it's sure. Well,
yeah.
usually I always say that Violet is the favorite character of everybody. Like I think you can't love Downton without loving Violet. It's like a package. But
she's the soul.
Yeah,
the
but
whole
I
thing.
think there's so many characters and they all have plots where some characters have more plots than others, but they all have at least once a storyline.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're just always in the background. So I like that. And just the idea of following them, you see them grow and the relationship and all that.
Fantastic.
And even if it's set in another period of time, the Harvin, it's a family and all kind of stuff like that. It can resonate with you because friendship, family, love, all that you can understand.
Workplace.
Yeah, and it's not violent because now we have a lot of shows. It's all of violence, fights, and blood. Well, you have the war, but it's not And yeah, I don't know. I think and it's just there are bad characters.
The villains.
But as an ensemble, I think they're all quite good at the moment. Like they try to do their best.
Yeah, but it's good to have some villains.
Yeah,
too.
it's good. But,
like we like to dislike
but,
them.
But if you see like the main characters you follow, you realize that you don't have like a villain, like really one where like oh I'm gonna hate it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hate that person. No, because then you see something and you're like, oh no, because that happens to that character.
Yeah,
so
you mean like for example Mary and Thomas, they're very specific characters.
I think that
one episode you could love them, the next you'll hate them.
Yeah,
like that's so
great. Yeah, but I think the fact that there's so many characters, so many storylines, I think you just enjoy because and it's something there's so many characters that if you Hugh always says that, but if you don't like one, you know that in 2 minutes you're gonna have another one. So it's like it's quite like that.
Yeah, basically. And what about like all the costumes and the plays and the work camera, like everything?
The cinematography is just insane because
I agree.
It's so detailed. Like
everything is.
Yeah, there's some shots that are just mind-blowing because you're like, oh my god, it's so good, and you don't usually have that in a lot of TV shows that are literally made like it was a movie.
Yeah, that's true. Each episode feels like a movie.
Yeah, and the costume, like the it's so precise, like the
and it's
details.
accurate in historically speaking, it's really accurate season after season.
Even if it's like, of course it's fiction, so it's a bit romance and all that, but I think that's why, because they've put money in it and you can see it,
totally.
but it's worth it. Like
Absolutely.
It's so well made, and the music is really, really good too.
Everything is so.
And the
oh my God.
cast, I think all the actors, not just the main cast, but even like the extras or the guests, they're all so great that sometimes you forget that it was actually filmed. It's not real.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's the kind of show you don't even acknowledge that there is a camera and a crew behind the camera. It's just a whole new universe, and you're in it, and you're part of it, and you follow it.
It's so good.
It's really good. So, do you have a favorite series or a season, or out of the 6, and why?
God. That's really difficult because it's more like their storylines that are my favorite, but like seasons. Oh shit! Because I'm trying to see every season. I'm like, okay, in that I like that, but don't that, and not that. So I don't know.
But one you're going to really enjoy rewatching again and again, or you can't wait to.
Say for now, I think about season 5 because of one particular storyline. But I remember
Which one?
This Breaker storyline is one of my favorite storyline in all Downton. But
interesting.
But probably season 6, because I like how it ends. I think it's a nice ending, and you have things that you've been waiting for, like the fight between Mary and Edith. It's very... So I would say 6 or the first one. Because the first one, every time I go back and I'm like, it's so good. Yeah. And we know that they thought that there's going to be just the first one. I think it was... it's so good. So either 6 or 1. But I quite like all of them because I have... I have reasons to like them all.
I totally get it. Okay, do you have... Okay, there is going to be a lot of favorite. What's your favorite that and this? Okay. So do you have a favorite Christmas episode? Because I do.
I have, I want to say also the Christmas special episode of season 6, because I love how it ends. Like, it's really very happy ending, fairy tale, like very Christmassy. And, and how it ends when they sing, like, it's just...
Yeah.
But
I agree.
I can even say I love Christmas special of season 3, but just the end kills me, so I can't say that.
God. Yeah, that's a good episode.
But I love the season, and it's season 4, right? It's Christmas special of season 4, the season of
London.
Of
when they're
in London.
Rose. Yeah. I think 4.
It's 4, yes.
Lady Rose comes season 4.
Yeah.
She does.
Yeah, and season 5, the Christmas special, is when Tom is leaving.
Okay, so it's season 4.
Oh, I love this one too.
Season 4 is my absolute favorite.
But I love season 4
season
too.
In London.
Because
with the Americans.
Martha and Harold, like...
Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
that's
I would say
whole thing.
So I would say 6 or 4 because I can't make a choice to save my life. So
Okay, noted. So, do you have a favorite upstairs character?
I mean,
I know you thought about this one, so
I know you know the answer. But it's Cora. But like I said, Violet is like a favorite. If you love Downton, it's a favorite, so I can't even say her.
Yeah, that's
but upstairs, it's Cora. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have to say why? Because
do you want to?
Because I sometimes I don't even know if I know why.
Well, if you have a why, let's
I don't
hear
know.
It,
Weirdly, I quite love her because she's always there, and not until really the end of the show. So season 5, she has a proper storyline, but all the time she's always like in other storylines, like Mary, usually Mary.
But she always have an opinion, but a fair one.
Yeah, and she's so kind and so sweet and so pretty. Let's just say it. But I don't know, I think what I love is that she's so kind. And people think that she's weak because she is kind, when actually I think she's the strongest of the upstairs because
probably
of maybe that kindness. I mean, I love her. I don't know what to say.
Okay, that's enough.
Cora, or maybe I can say why it would take like 3 hours, and I don't think we have.
You'll have to write a book about it.
Someone already started that. I think.
Oh my God. Okay, so do you have a favorite downstairs character? That's a very hard one.
This is a very hard one because I have 2 and I can't choose.
Okay.
It's Mrs. Hughes and Mrs. Patmore, and I can't choose.
Oh
it's
God.
like
I would have swear that you would have said Mr. Carson.
No. Oh, it's funny that you don't.
Okay, Mrs. Hughes and
Mrs. Patmore. Yeah.
Okay, I think Miss Patmore is my favorite one. Like
who's your favorite upstairs?
I think Edith.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
I
interesting.
absolutely love her. Like that's probably my favorite character of the whole show.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
Mrs. Hughes and Mrs. Patmore. First,
Yeah.
I love their duo. Like
Yeah.
they're just so good. Like every
There's-
time they're together, like no,
I
I just
love it. I would have loved to have them as colleagues.
Oh my god! Because I just edited for my episode for Shall We Go Through, so for the
Mhm.
Christmas special of season 3, and the whole
Aw.
storyline for Mrs. Patmore and Mr. Tufton
Oh
when
my
they have
God,
this
that's
scene
a good one.
when they have this scene in Mrs. Hughes' sitting room,
Oh, yeah.
and Mrs. Hughes tries to tell her that well he's flirting with other women and all that, and she thinks he's going to cry, and Mrs. Patmore is like, oh my god, I'm relieved, and they laugh together. I mean, I love
No, and
them.
she hides her face and her
Yeah.
hand, and like,
Yeah,
oh, thank
and
God.
and when Mrs. Hughes is gonna get married and
Oh
Mrs.
my
Patmore,
God.
I like actually the trio with Mr. Castle.
Yeah.
When can you
They're
ask
so
him, you know,
funny.
if he wants a real marriage? It's like, but perhaps you can keep the lights off. You know?
Oh my God, she's so
I
good.
really really love them,
So
and I
good.
can't choose. I can't choose actually between the two because they're like yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand. Okay.
Okay.
So, do you have a favorite villain? So there is a couple.
I know.
Um,
I think my favorite is Thomas.
Okay.
If I had to choose, I think it's Thomas because first I think he's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like the allyship that he has. First is with O'Brien, then with O'Brien it's like well
Yeah.
no because they're against each other. Then he tries to find new allies, and then he becomes a bully again with Baxter,
Mhm.
and then I don't know. I think his whole journey is very very interesting, and
Because the character and
Yeah.
his story is
It's
really
really
complicated
interesting.
and interesting.
but I like the parallel between Thomas and Mary. I think it's a good
Yeah.
parallel because they're very
I
similar.
understand.
But I would say Thomas.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. He's really interesting as a villain.
Because there are villains
And
that
he ends up not being a villain,
Yeah.
so that's a good thing.
because there are villains that just no, I can't stand them.
Yeah.
Because well, in Christmas special of season 3, we have Edna coming
Yeah,
in.
I was thinking about her. Like Edna, we have O'Brien.
O'Brien, yeah. No,
Um,
O'Brien,
she's
the
like-
soap.
We have Susan too. Susan.
Oh, Susan, no,
She's
no.
She's no.
Well,
she's
actually,
a big
you know what?
no.
O'Brien, she heard Cora. Susan, she heard Cora too
Oh my
because you know she
God.
stole her maid.
Yeah.
And Cora, she was so nice with her, like she thought she
Yeah.
was understanding her, and she
Yeah,
stole her
that's
maid,
so odd.
like bitch.
My
And
God.
how she's with Rose, I can't. Like I can't. I mean, okay, Thomas sometimes is really mean too, but like them, I can't. Edna,
Let's not talk about her. She's Satan.
Like you have Larry Gray. I can't
Oh
see
yeah,
the guy.
Larry. I forgot about him.
Have Vera Bates. I quite like her,
Oh
but, it's
my
not,
God.
but I like her as a villain. I quite like
Yeah,
Richard
she's
Carlyle too.
a
Green,
villain.
he's dead, thank God.
Oh my God, there is many villains actually. I
But
forgot
villains
about.
that you see a lot,
Yeah.
there's less. But like Green, I'm just happy he's dead.
Yeah.
You know, if someone is not, I mean, I don't know, you must be a sociopath because
Okay. And so, do you have a favorite character evolution? Because we follow them through 6 seasons and so many years. So, from season 1 to season 6, do you have like?
Edith probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Edith and Daisy. Because
Yeah,
Daisy,
yes.
she has the craziest evolution from the scullery
That's so
maid to
true.
like
That's so true.
having
Yeah.
a farm. Yeah, and Edith, I think Edith is really like, I feel very sorry
She's
for her.
a hero,
And I think
basically.
I understand why people don't like her, but I think if people don't like her, it's because of the storyline that she has. I think she is less in the spotlight than Mary, and I think she's always showed like she's in the shadow of Mary, and it's always sad because I think
But
I just love when she has a magazine and all
yeah,
that.
and she
just,
really tries her best.
Yeah.
Every season.
It's just
Well, season 1, it's you
No.
hate her, but starting season 2, like she
Like,
she had the
I mean,
evolution.
she's
like,
just well, Edith, she's just unlucky
yeah,
because
poor thing.
she
Poor
thought.
Edith.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but in the end, I think she has the best husband, like
Yeah.
in the best.
True.
I mean, Bertie, I love you. Just
I
saying.
love Edith so much. Okay. If you could be a character for 24 hours,
Oh,
who would that be? Careful, because I have a second question, which is if you could play a character, which one would you choose?
Okay, so could be it's not about my talent to act. So
First of all, it's about who do you want to be.
yeah, but
and who do you want to
play,
play?
it's like who I
Yeah,
also think
you
I
can
can play.
choose something wilder to play. So it's
Or
not-
less because I'm not.
Okay. Like, yeah, let's say you have wonderful acting skills.
Okay. Oh shit. Who I would like to be for 24 hours. And like, do I pick this season? Like,
Or you can. You can be as specific as you want.
okay. Oh my. I don't know. This is a good question. Well, okay, I have to.
Okay, let's do it.
Maybe I would like to be Edith, but like in her really at the end when she's like super successful
Yeah.
with her magazine and her great
Yeah.
husband. Like really when
The
she's
working
married to
woman.
when
like
she's
modern-
married to Bertie, like all that.
Okay, okay.
I want to be her for just to know how it feels like to finally have something right in your life. You know what I mean?
Oh, poor. Oh, I'm gonna
No,
cry.
I think I would like to be her, or I would like to be Mrs. Patmore just to know what it feels like to be a genius cook.
Yeah, I think 24 hours will be more than enough for this.
To know
'cause
everything.
I have no idea like how packed the day of Mrs. Patmore
Yeah.
must be.
Yeah.
Like she's cooking
Yeah.
all day.
Then I hesitate between I want to be Robert just to know what it feels like to be married to Cora for
Oh.
24 hours. But
Okay.
now, you know,
But not be Cora? No.
now I think I would like to be Robert.
Okay. Okay.
So I can be married to Cora, you know?
Okay. Okay.
See the difference?
So that was the first question, right?
Yeah,
And-
but no, maybe I want to play Robert because maybe it's the one that I think I could play. You know.
yeah, he's not really like
No, this is
like,
so bad.
he
on
doesn't
Hugh.
know a lot
this
of
is
things.
so bad for
He's
Hugh, but like,
yeah. Sorry, you.
no, because I think he's a terrific actor. But you know, because if we play and we can we choose a day where he's supposed to kiss Cora, which is not a lot.
Okay.
So can we choose that day
If you want to choose
so I
it.
can play that? But not, please, just not when he like throw up blood because I
yeah.
can't.
Yeah, okay.
Just not that. Because I don't know who I would like to play. Or maybe I would like just to see how it feels like to play Daisy, but Daisy from season 1, like
Oh,
you know, with
yeah.
this very heavy
Yeah.
like thing
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
the
yeah.
fire, which I would not know what to do.
Mm. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, maybe that.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Interesting. Okay, let's continue with your favorites.
Okay.
What do you have a favorite outfit? Or one that
Oh,
really
shit.
stands out in your
I have
opinion?
more than one.
Oh my god, okay, let's
First,
do it.
I love
Let's do it.
the riding clothes. Men, women, I don't care. Just love. I think
Oh my God.
everyone looks good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, totally agree. Like Mary season 1, like I still have it.
even
in-
Sybil, there in episode 2 of season 1, she comes in with riding clothes. We have never seen her on a horse,
yeah,
but we
I
see her
remember.
like Mary
do.
in season 6. I love in season 6 with the hat. I like her
Oh,
style in
yeah.
season 6 too.
Mary has
Um,
like class.
and I like
She's
because the
classy.
men they have sometimes they have like a red jacket. You
Mhm.
know, like you have Evelyn with one.
Yeah.
Robert has one
Yeah.
once I think. So I love the riding clothes. I love the uniforms when they are all like season 2 for costumes. I think is one of my favorites
Mhm.
because I love the uniforms. I love the mess kit, which is like the red jacket they have.
Yeah.
Robert, he wears that more than once in the show because like
Yes.
the official thing. I love that, especially when Robert in season 5, then he has like a cape on it. I don't know if
I
you
don't remember.
he just has a cape on it. I'm like,
Oh
oh,
my
I
God.
love this style.
Wow, okay.
And Cora season 2. I think if I should just want Cora season 2, it's like
Do you think like do you talk about the casual outfits more or
everything.
like the dinner gowns?
Cora season 2.
Okay,
The
yeah.
hairstyle is my favorite. I like
Yeah.
because the dresses are they are simpler, but I like like the cut,
Mhm.
especially when she have like a blouse, just and
Yes, yes,
a skirt.
yeah.
Yeah. There's one where she has like a blue blouse and a skirt, and one where she has like I think it's a orange blouse and a blue skirt. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
I-
And I love her dress, like her red dress, the Happy
Mm.
Note dress. I like that one. And I like the black one where when she's sick from Spanish flu. She goes down in the
Oh,
black
yeah.
one. I quite like this one. And
Wow.
then yeah, I love the
The
new
costumes
the
in
new
general
era
are-
style,
Yes.
the dresses.
Yes.
And I love the dress that Mary has on the first movie, the last dress that she has, the dress for when they at the ball.
Yeah, yeah. Was it white?
there was white and
black.
black or dark blue, I think. And now
Okay.
everything is mixed up. But,
Yeah.
but and although a new era, the style from everyone,
Yeah.
Edith, I want.
Mm.
Oh no, I want to be Edith in a new era for 24 hours,
Okay.
living her best life with her husband. Oh my god, I want to be that.
In the south of France. Let's do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite scene or one that stands out in your opinion?
Season like, or do we count?
The whole thing. You choose one.
Oh my god. I probably wants to say that's in the new era.
Okay. Oh, so you include the movie too.
But I asked you if it was movie or not. You said the whole thing.
Ah, no, I was like, okay.
Series. Okay. Oh, okay. It's easier if I just talk about the show.
Series.
Oh my god, there's so many because I have at least one favorite by
But it's
character.
a Cora and Robert scene for sure.
I had to choose just one, yes.
Yeah,
And it would be when he comes. I think it would be the one when he comes back from America.
Oh my god.
The bazaar, like when he comes
yes.
back and he says, "Oh,
I'm gonna cry.
do you know how many times I have imagined this season? And they kiss in front of everybody,
Yeah.
which we never saw that. Like
Yeah.
usually it's always just them two, and now he's like, I don't care.
Oh
I
my
miss
God.
my wife, and oh my god.
That's
And I
so
love
good.
it. I love every time it's like a garden party or like the cricket match or like the bazaar because it's summer and the outfits.
Yeah.
The men that in like it's not white, but sometimes it's like beige.
Yeah.
It's
Linen, I think.
the colors are lighter and it's just so beautiful. And that scene is just so dreamy and
Love it.
I love Cobra in season 4, but there's so many other things that I hate in season 4, so it's always quite difficult.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Noted.
so hard to pick.
But that's
yeah.
a really good one. You picked a really
Okay.
good one. Do you have a favorite line or one that stands out in your opinion? Because I know you know a lot of lines.
Yeah, but favorite one from just pick one.
Yeah. But like, don't do a Dowager line like Violet.
Okay.
Violet, because I have another question, which is,
Okay.
what's your favorite?
That's already
Dowager
difficult to just
line?
pick one because I can't
Yeah.
make a choice. You just
Yeah.
have to say, oh my god. Why do I have funny things in my head? Like
You can say a funny
the
thing.
first thing that I have is "you're a bitch."
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Oh my god.
I love that one. Yeah.
To stay on the same side, I love it's always because of character, but I love what Tom says to Mary, you're a coward, like, oh bully, you're a coward,
Yeah.
because I love how it was made.
Mm.
But oh god, this is the hardest question ever. I'm gonna go by one that I always say, but it's one from Robert when he says, "We all have chapters we would rather keep unpublished."
Yeah.
My dear fellow, we all have chapters we would rather keep unpublished.
I just love this one.
It's
There's
really- I
so
love it.
many, but like,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a good one. Yeah, I agree.
okay.
So do you have like a favorite Dowager line? So
Too
there is
many.
a lot of
Too
good
many.
ones. I know that's a really difficult.
Yeah,
question.
to not say, well, I'm gonna say it, but to not say just what is a weekend, which is like classic.
Yeah, that's in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's some that I love because it's very moving.
Mhm.
Like when she says, "I do not speak much of the heart because it's oh god, I don't know exactly because I can't remember. Like, I do not speak usually from the heart because like it's not really useful, but I know where the pain when it is broken."
Oh.
When she
okay.
says to
Yeah.
Robert, I'm sorry if I messed it up. Maybe I would just put it right
Yeah.
because she can say better than I do.
I do not speak much of the heart, since it's seldom helpful to do so. But I know well enough the pain when it is broken.
But one that always makes me laugh is, why does every day involve a fight with an American? And on the chest,
There
no,
is
no,
so
I'm a good
many.
sailor.
There is so many.
I would say this one.
Why does every day involve a fight with an American?
I'll fetch a different one.
No. I'm a good sailor.
I love Violet.
But it's so hard to pick. Like,
Yeah. Okay. So, if you could change one event or a storyline,
Oh, so many. Shh.
which would it be?
If I could change just one thing,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna say two because I can't say one.
Okay.
One from upstairs, one from downstairs. So we have
Let's do it.
from downstairs. I would change something in the Anna Bates storyline in season 4. Well, everything that comes to that, the rape thing,
Yeah,
this
that's
thing,
terrible.
because first it's terrible, and I'm like, why Anna and Bates again?
Mm.
And the whole thing that she goes in jail and he's supposed to go in jail. There's so many things about jail
Mm.
again. It drives me nuts. Why them again
There
in
is
jail?
too much for them. Yeah,
I
that's
think
a lot.
I would have preferred them. Well, that kept me awake at night. I would have preferred them to be very involved in maybe someone else's storyline,
Okay.
but without them being the ones that are in trouble.
Okay.
No, them
I get
happy
it, yeah.
involving with someone.
Yes.
Like how Mary and Matthew were involved in Bates and Anna's storyline,
Mhm.
but them being happy.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because I
Yeah, it's too much for.
Yeah, it's why
to take. Yeah, I understand.
I don't know. And first, because the whole, I don't know why, but I think the rape situation might have been maybe, I don't know if I can say interesting, but if you knew more about how we treat
Mhm.
rape at that time, like
Yeah.
was it a crime or not? Was it like something big or something
Mm.
not? Like because still now it's complicated to deal with that.
Yeah.
When you have trials, but 100 years ago, how it was,
Yeah.
and in the end, you don't have answers, and then she goes in jail because the guy dies, and who cares? We don't care. But then she goes in jail, and then no, she's not. But maybe Bates is going to jail again. Like
Yeah,
just the
that's
prison thing is
yeah.
like it was too
So
much.
much,
Anna,
yeah.
Anna, when she goes in jail, it breaks my heart because she
Yeah.
has suffered and she has been through so much. Why did you
Yeah,
do
why
that?
her? She's the best.
Yeah, and we did not have the script book for season 4, and I hate it because I would have loved to hear what Julian had to say about that. Like, why Anna?
Yeah.
Why them?
Yeah, that's real interesting. I agree.
So yeah. And for upstairs, I would
Yeah.
have loved Edith to tell her mother that she was pregnant.
Oh my god.
I think everything would have been different.
Really?
Yeah, I think that I like the fact that thanks to that we saw Rosamund more because I love Rosamund, but she should have told her mother.
That's true.
I think that, and I feel bad, but that's also a bit because of how they're always more concerned about Mary than Edith, or I don't think they are, but like they show Mary more intention, I think, than Edith,
Yeah.
especially right that time you have Mary and being Matthew's heiress and having her like storyline with like Gillingham and all those, like who's going to be her next
Yeah.
woman, all that I don't like that storyline. All her suitors, I think it's quite boring a bit, but I feel bad for Edith because I think if she would have told her mother, I think she would have said just keep the baby. I think
Yeah, but in
so many
the
things.
other hand, it's understandable that she did not tell
Yes,
her because she was
but
left
I
out.
think, but it's
like
sad
most
because
of the time.
because when Mary had a trouble with Pamuk, she
Yeah.
called her mom.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
actually, it's
true.
Anna who
That's
called.
yeah.
But so I was quite sad. Or after that, I would, if you say that she doesn't say anything to her mother, I would change with the whole Drew situation. I would have told his wife that it was Edith's child because
Yeah,
at first
that's true.
he didn't want it to say it. But I think if his wife knew that it was Edith's child, everything would have
That
been
was
better.
really unfair. The whole thing was unfair
Yeah.
to her. So yeah, totally agree
And I know
with
that people don't like Edith because of that, but I feel bad for her because the whole situation, she wanted to keep the baby. They said no, and then she tried everything to have her baby, and it was complicated. So I think if in the end she give them to the Drews, I would have tell Mrs. Drew the truth.
Totally agree. Okay, perfect. So then if you could add a scene, or a sequence or a storyline maybe that you have in mind, or anything, what would it be?
Well,
Do you have something in mind?
I have a huge storyline, but
Oh,
it's
Lord.
more like fact fiction. So maybe if you want to talk about
Okay.
it, it's what kept me awake at night.
Okay, but who is it about?
Colbert, obviously.
Oh my god, okay.
But it involves also Bates and Anna and everyone.
That's something you can add to the
No.
show
No,
right now?
so no,
or you have
so-
modifications to make?
I think you can add it, but I think because I have a bit of trouble with the timeline and all that, so I think it's
Yeah.
more like you can add it at the end of the show, so
Okay.
like between like the movies and the
Okay.
show, something like that. I don't really know. It's like just in a fairy
Mhm.
tale imagination thing.
Okay.
But if I can add okay, I have, yeah, I think this is very cool. But I would have loved a scene in season 1 where Cora and Robert, they grieved their son together. Because we saw him cry, which
Yeah.
makes me cry every time. We saw her at the garden party being all cast down, like poor
Yeah.
her. But I would have loved something, the two of them, the moment where like they know, like it's
Yeah.
because a part of me thinks that maybe she was the one crying and he was the one trying to confront her, and that's why he was crying alone in his dressing room. Like he had laid down everything because he wanted to be strong for her. I don't know, but I would love a scene
Like
between them
what
two.
happened behind this? Like,
Yeah.
behind that.
Because they must have cried or say something.
Yeah,
And
together.
we know Cora, she always blames herself for almost everything. And that moment, obviously she will blame
that's
herself
really
because she's lived in that
difficult.
damn soap.
Ugh.
Brian, we hate you. And so obviously she feels guilty. Plus he was a boy, so it's like
Yeah,
I would have loved a scene, at that
together.
moment.
Okay.
And okay, can I say something else?
Okay.
I would
Go
have
ahead.
loved to see Cora telling Robert the truth about the whole Pamuk situation, but to see his reaction. Because we
Oh
know,
my
we
God.
have the beginning,
Yeah, I wonder what his reaction would
and I
be.
especially want to see his reaction when he know that his wife carried the corpse. Because that's
Oh
the
my
thing.
God,
Because
yeah.
I always think, thank God Robert didn't wake up.
Yeah.
Because they sleep in the same bedroom, so Mary has
He
to
would
wake.
have passed out.
No, she because she woke her mother up. Then so they leave the room. Then she has to come back,
Yeah.
and Robert is
Well,
like,
he's really tired. I say that.
yeah, that's something also that it's very Cora and Roberts
Okay.
centered, but
Okay. So we know you're like obviously a big fan of the series and the 2 movies and the whole thing. And you even have a podcast right now.
Yes.
But can you tell us about your journey as a fan? Like, how did it escalate to that point? Like, so I had like a couple like points.
Okay.
For example, social media,
Yeah.
or the books you bought, the fan fictions you read, like the idea of your podcast and everything.
Okay. So first I watched the show, so
Yeah.
2017. I liked it. We talked about it. I
Yeah,
liked
a
it.
lot.
And I really liked it. It was really a show I thought I'm going to see that again.
Mhm.
But well, school, uni, all that, lots of things to watch too, and to work to do with
Yeah.
that. So I just haven't watched that again. And then new movie,
Mhm.
and actually, it's the moment where I finished uni because 2019 is when it was in September, I think, the movie. So it was like,
Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
think, is that possible? Yeah, I think it was. It was the new year after I finished uni. So I rewatched Downton. And that's, with the movie. So I was like, oh, YouTube, okay, interviews, stuff like that, because
Oh
I'm
yeah,
into
I
it.
forgot about that. Yeah.
So, and the interviews for the first movie, there's something. And then, then you have recommendations. So you watch interviews for like season 2, and like, this is great. So you watch that. Then I remember my sister got me the DVDs, so I watched all the bonuses, and we still didn't have bloopers. Why? I don't know. And yeah, and I think oh my God, I think I remember. So first movie.
Mhm.
So there's a premiere. If you remember how they were all dressed, I remember I was like on Instagram, and I think it was like recommendation, there was a lot of pictures from the people. That's when I started.
The first movie?
Yeah, that's when I think I started following them, like the actors
Okay.
from Downton. Was like
From the first movie?
I think, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Because you have a lot of pictures of them, Cora in her beautiful pink
Yeah.
dress.
Okay.
And the others, they were nice too. But I said Cora because I'm not sure he would. Can I? Because Sofiane doesn't probably know the names of the actors.
Oh yeah,
so I
I'm
said,
sorry, I'm not that kind of person.
So I said Cora, Elizabeth, if you prefer. But anyway, and so I had pictures, and so I clicked on them, and I don't know how, But on the recommendation, I fell on the account that was called McGonagall.
Ooh.
And that was
That's
the beginning.
everything of the end. The beginning of the end.
Literally. Because I was like, oh my God. And so I was saying, because I love them. So McGonagall, it's, if you don't know, it's like a name for
A
Elizabeth.
ship.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of. They're
kind of.
already together, but it's
Yeah,
a
it's
ship.
for Elizabeth McGovern and Hugh Bonneville, who plays Corinne Roberts. So McGonagall.
That's not only like it's about the characters, but the actors as well. 'Cause
Yeah,
they have
yeah,
a
it's so-
relationship.
yeah, it's-
like,
yeah, it's
they're
like-
not together, but they're like best friends.
Yeah, they like so it was the whole account. So I was staying scrolling down when I said I went, and I think that person started the account in 2015. I went down
4
until
years of Twitter,
Yeah.
right?
it was Instagram.
Ah,
but
4
yeah.
years of
So
Instagram.
I watched that,
That's great.
and then for a long amount of time, I would just watch without being like active in it. Just watch,
Mhm.
And
No.
then that person had a Tumblr account.
And you discovered Tumblr.
Well, I
right?
knew Tumblr from back then, but
Yeah.
I never was really on it. Like you
Yeah.
watch,
Okay.
but then I went to Tumblr. I went through like their whole Tumblr, and I started discover new other Tumblrs.
Yeah, and you
People-
fell into the
People starting writing fan fictions, and I was like, okay, am I going to start reading one? I read it really recently actually
Mhm.
because I was not sure that I wanted, because like, am I going to like it? Because sometimes fan fiction people are completely crazy with
yeah,
plots and
that's
the
true.
like, because if you have read Harry Potter fan fiction, some people are like, they are sociopaths. That's
That's too much for me.
yeah, so I wasn't sure, but I started one because at the same account, McGonagall, so they write fan fictions, and there were on the highlights of Instagram of the stories some memes that were made about one fan fiction that I thought was so funny, and I thought I need to read that. So I started reading fan fiction, and that was really, I think, the end of the
You made friends even.
Yes. spiraling into all that, because after that I created a Tumblr account and all that to follow people, and I was starting to actually interact with people. And then the podcast, the idea came out around the time they announced the new movie, because we were
Yeah.
talking with Sofiane
Was
about
it a year ago?
yeah, it was
more than
they
a year?
announced there would be a Downton Abbey 2 on April 19th, 2021.
Oh my god.
I do know that. I do know because we
Okay.
talked about it.
Yeah.
And the afternoon, I sent you a message, Sofiane, have you seen that? I was like, oh my God, we
Yeah.
just talked about it. And we rewatched actually Downton. I remember because I was like, do I rewatch it or not? And he said, go on. And so after this announcement, I had to. And I abandoned it. And we started talking about Downton. Oh my God, this podcast would be a great idea. And then when I created the podcast, a year later in April 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, and here I am.
That's a journey, right?
Yes.
That's a really, really big journey. And so it really, like, you do a lot of things like Downton Abbey related. And now you're kind of a Hugh Bonneville fan, obsessed fan.
You started with
Like,
Downton, yeah.
Tell us about it.
Oh, okay. First, it's funny because when I think about watching Downton, if there were actors that I knew before,
Yeah.
well, there was obviously Maggie Smith,
Yeah.
because I am a Potterhead, so Maggie Smith, Professor McGonagall, all that. And there are some actually that I've seen before, but it's more like smaller parts of one that arrives later, like Rose or even Bertie, the actors
Yeah.
I've seen before, but it's not like the main cast that we have. And it's funny because first time watching Downton, I was watching, it was like, Robert, that guy, he, like, there's something, like, I knew this guy from somewhere, and I couldn't put my finger on it, like, I know you, but I don't know from where. And I didn't want to go on Wikipedia to watch it because I was afraid of being spoiled by, and seeing something like this going, and thank God I didn't do that, because when I did that after, there are spoilers, because they would say Anna Bates or Elsie Castle, like,
Okay,
so you're
yeah.
like completely spoiled. So
Yeah.
thank God I didn't do that, because I mean I binge watched the show, so that was okay. But it's my mother. Once I was watching, I think, on my computer in the living room, and she just went behind me and she looked at it and said, "Hey, that guy! He's the one. He's the one who asked Julia Roberts how many she had won for a movie or something like that." And she was like, "Holy cricket!
Oh
Like,
my God.
oh my God, yes!" And so yes, it's Bernie from Notting Hill. But because I haven't watched
wow.
Notting Hill for a while, and it's not technically the same character. Like there's a bit of a word between, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, yes. And then after that, actually, I watched Paddington because it's about it's set in England, so obviously I like it, and it's very sweet and there's Hugh in it. And I don't know why I went into phase, or because I became a McGonagall fan, so I went to a phase of watching a lot of things from Elizabeth and Hugh, and so yeah, I went into a spiral. And sometimes it's why, because after that, sometimes my brain just makes crazy scenarios in my head, and you're like, okay, you have watched too many things in a short amount of time.
Did you watch like the whole filmography yet?
No,
No.
no. There's a movie that
It's a
I
long
think I
one?
want to watch it, but I can't find it, and it
Oh.
irritates me because it's a French movie where I know he speaks French in it,
Oh my
and
god.
I want to see that, but I can't find it anywhere. It drives me
Oh.
nuts.
You'll
But
find it
no,
in the
no. But I have it. Like I have so many
abyss
things of
of
them to watch,
internet.
and from Elizabeth. But at the moment I really watched too much of them two at the same time that my brain made a crossover. But like the more fucked up crossover that you have is in your life. Like really, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going far. Okay.
I said my brain was in dream. Like I didn't make it perfect. Like it's my brain who started working. Like alone.
Wow. How wonderful.
And then I wake up and like, what?
What was that about?
Yes.
Okay, so did you watch other Julian Fellowes work? Because Julian Fellowes obviously created and produced? No.
Yeah,
partly produced, I think.
he's a producer, I think, yeah.
The whole series and the movie.
Yeah, but he wrote, yeah.
So, did you discover new like work from him after watching Downton?
Yeah, what's the first thing I watched? I can't remember if the first thing I watched was Gosford Park after watching Downton, or if it was The English Game. Probably Gosford Park. So Gosford Park is a movie.
English Game yet. Oh my god.
Gosford Park is a movie that it's the one that inspired Downton Abbey. It's a movie that I think it's set, when was it? I think it's set just after the Second World War, but now I'm not sure. But it's a bit later, or before the Second World War.
And there
it's
is
a bit later.
go back in time thing, no? In Gosford Park?
No, that's not this one.
Oh, that's not this one. Okay.
Gosford Park is one that kind of inspired Downton Abbey, and there's Maggie Smith on it too, and he had an Oscar for best screenplay, I think. And it's basically like an Agatha Christie sort of thing, because
and
you
I
have
didn't watch it yet?
there's one person that dies in the house, and you're like, who killed him?
Is that like a dark movie?
No, it's not. No, it's not that dark. You have a lot of stories because you have also the servants and upstairs and all that. But yeah, it's a bit like it made me think. But it's like a classic shape of scenario. Like a huis clos. How do you say that in English? When closed doors, like you know that the murderer is here
in the house.
And there's a lot of really famous actors in it, and yeah, it's quite fun. I really like, because the detective, he's a bit like, you're like, what are you doing? So no, I think it was quite nice. And I think that's probably the first thing I watched. And because it's like a family with the servants, it quite inspired Downton Abbey. I think it's the same. I think it's the same producer than Downton, Gareth Neame, and he's the one that said, "Do you want to make a show out of it?" I don't know who I can't remember. And then he had this idea, I think, for a long time, to talk about the Buccaneers. I think that's how we call them, like the American heiresses that came into England to give money to the English aristocrats, and then in exchange they would have a title. So yeah, then I watched The English Game. So it's a show.
Did you like it?
I quite like it. I know that there's a lot of things that is not accurate, apparently.
Yeah, I watched the first episode, but I wasn't hooked up, so I
quite like it. It was not like my favorite thing, but I liked it. I watched
Belgravia. I was about to say
Belgravia. It's actually an adaptation from a book that he wrote. It's a novel.
He writes books.
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy them.
Well, he wrote a novel called Belgravia, and he made the show about it. And I really liked it. I need to rewatch it, because I remember I watched it because it was like an episode a week.
Yeah.
And it was quite hard actually to find it in France back then. But now it's actually on Salto, so I could just binge watch the whole thing. I should binge watch it. I think it was really, really interesting too. I quite liked it.
cool.
And then, well, obviously.
Oh my god, yes, the Gilded Age. Oh my god, I hope there is like 13 seasons.
I mean, obviously we liked it because we all, lots of us would have wanted to have a prequel. Like, I think I would have a prequel series of
Yeah.
Downton for Cora and Robert.
Yeah.
And we kind of set around the same time period. It's a bit before, like the time
Yeah.
period of the Gilded Age. But it's around...
Like Cora would have been like maybe 18 years old, no?
No,
16,
no, she would be younger.
15, 14.
6.
Yeah, something
maybe
like
16.
that. But yeah, then you have like a
Around
good
that
idea
time.
about like...
Oh, 14, no, I think she's born in 1868. And I think the Gilded Age is 1882, so she'll be like 14.
Okay,
But
yeah,
I
14,
think
like
we have
a
a
young
good,
girl.
yeah, we have a good idea with the Russells.
Yeah.
It's basically, it's how the Levinsons
Yes.
are. That's the Russells. So yeah, no, it's very good. It's so
It's so
interesting
good.
because it's not like Downton, because you can't compare, because it's like it's
No, it's
America.
totally yeah, it's
but
totally
it's the
different.
same vibe in the way that the attention to details and the costumes.
True. Yeah,
Oh
everything about this
my God.
is just so mind-blowing. It's very American as well.
Because
And
it's
yeah,
such-
of course. And yeah, everything is wonderful. That you have the upstairs and
Yeah.
downstairs, and you have the big storyline and the little ones, and it's just so good. And
And-
there is a podcast too, like official podcast.
Yeah. Oh, there's an official
So
podcast
I
for
didn't
Downton Abbey
really
too. It's really interesting.
like really.
And the cast is just...
I didn't know a lot of actors or actresses.
Oh, I
like,
knew a
from
lot.
there.
I knew a lot.
But
There's
they're incredible.
yeah. I think
The Russell,
I can't-
excuse me?
I can't remember, because one day there was a question, how do you think awards, I don't know if it was awards or Emmys, or I don't know, like they have as a cast, all the actors,
Really?
it's a crazy amount.
Oh my god, that's
I don't know
great.
if it was just awards as a whole, just a typical, but I
Yeah.
can't remember, but it was like crazy. And like there's so many famous people in it, like,
yeah,
oh my God, like how did you put
that's a
everyone
really good
together?
show.
And the newbie that you don't
Yeah.
know, they're so good. Like
Yes.
I think that's the strength of, I think, what Julian does, or maybe it's because he's always with Gareth Nim and usually also Liz Trubridge, who are great producers,
Yeah.
because the cast usually are always great. Like
Yeah, that's really...
yeah. Oh, and I watch from time to time. Yeah, that's the thing why I came back in time. You know,
Oh, yeah, okay.
there's
okay.
Hugh Bonneville into Emma
Okay.
Smith and
Okay.
Alan Leach, and in this story,
Okay.
actually, Alan, like Tom is married to Sarah Bunting, and you're like, excuse me,
Okay.
what? But yeah, I watched that too. It was actually directed by Julian Fellowes as well, and I did watch it. Okay.
That's a lot. Like, there's a lot of like different things he did, and it's just wow.
Yeah.
I love a lot of them. Can't wait for the Gilded Age season 2. I feel like I just found a new Downton. Like not not Downton,
But
but like
something
something
else to be
yeah.
obsessed with.
Because
Like,
I watched Downton since season 2 was airing on
Yeah.
TV, so I would like have to wait each year for it to come out, and it's really like the same. I'm so excited right now too for season 2, and I hope there is so many seasons of it. So yeah. Anyway, let's go back to Downton Abbey, and I have 2 little games to play.
okay.
Yeah, before that, I wanted to talk about the second movie, but then I feel like they just have to go back and listen to the podcast about the second movie, because
But
I think we said
Yeah.
everything.
But I'm gonna make another episode of the movie once I finish,
Oh my God.
because I have to,
Yeah,
by details.
digest
I
everything.
love to go through
Yeah.
everything with
Okay.
detail. So
So
there we
we're not
have
gonna do
another
that
one.
right now,
But
but you'll say everything.
okay,
on the
okay.
back. Okay. So first little game is Kiss, Marry, Kill. Are we like keeping the kill or
we can
changing
try.
it?
We can try.
That's going to be hard. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try with a kill. Okay, so Kiss, Marry, Kill. For those who don't know what Kiss, Marry, Kill is, basically I'm going to give Emma 3 names of 3 characters, and she's going to have to choose the one she would have liked to marry, kiss, and the one she wants to kill.
Obviously, no one. I don't think I want to kill anybody, but I don't have a choice.
Yeah,
okay?
it's very like an image. It's an image.
Yeah.
So first, we have Thomas, Thomas, Matthew, and Robert. Yeah, I did quite a difficult
God.
one.
Oh, that's difficult.
Well,
I know.
like one of them
I
is
just-
already dead.
Yeah, that's
so
the question.
Kill him.
Because I thought I want to kill him, but he's going to die anyway.
No, let's not do that. Let's really do that in the order of your like. It's my favorite one.
Yeah, but
It's my
imagine I want
least
to.
fa-
Yeah, but imagine I want to marry Matthew, and he's going to die a year after I marry him because
No,
of a car accident.
let's say he's not gonna die. Then.
Okay, he's not gonna. Oh my God. Well, I can't. I don't think Thomas would like to marry me because
Okay, well,
maybe.
we'll never
Well, I
know.
don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do I want to kill Robert or no? That's the question.
What?
No,
Are you
I don't
thinking
think
about
to
it?
kill him. Like, do I really want to marry him? Because I think if I'm going to marry him, maybe one day I will have to choke him because sometimes he annoys me. I love him dearly. I really do.
Choke him to death.
But oh my
Okay.
God.
Oh.
Ooh.
This is
You know what?
going
No, actually-
something somewhere interesting.
Actually, you know what? I think I'm
Okay.
going to marry Robert, but at some point I will have to really
Divorce.
to really be angry. Like I wish
Yeah.
Cora once would just shout to him like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Uh-huh.
stupid."
It's like a child sometimes.
And I quite like Robert. I'm not gonna lie. I really like him. So maybe first I was like married to Cora. Now I'm marrying Robert. Yeah, I
Let's
think I'm gonna marry
everyone.
Robert. And the question says, will I want to? But I think okay, that's really hard. I think I'm gonna kiss Matthew and I'm gonna kill Thomas.
Okay, sorry, Thomas.
But it was
But
really
it's-
hard. I
it's life.
hesitated, but
Life is hard.
I'm not sure I want to marry Matthew though. So,
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know.
get it. Okay, so next we have Anna, Daisy, and Miss Baxter.
Oh no! Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm very cruel today.
I don't think I want to marry Anna. There's always troubles with the police with Anna. So I love you, Anna, but I'm not
Okay.
sure like I can
Daisy is
stand.
annoying. No, would you marry Daisy?
Oh my God, she could be a bit annoying.
Like she's so
I
annoying.
love Miss
sometimes.
Baxter. I think I'm gonna marry Miss Baxter because
Yeah,
she's so nice.
I would do.
I
that
would kiss Anna because I really love her. I'm
too.
just afraid of the police situation thing. Okay, and I'm going to kill Daisy. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Daisy.
sorry, Daisy.
It's really hard. The
Yeah.
kill thing, it's
Yeah.
killing me. Okay.
But okay, let's continue. Okay, we have a difficult one.
Oh my God.
We have Carson, Edith, and Mr. Bates.
I marry Edith.
Okay.
I'm gonna. There.
Yeah,
I marry
okay.
Edith. But
Well,
I think I'm gonna kill. I'm gonna kill Carson. I'm gonna kiss Mr. Bates
okay.
because
Okay.
Carson.
Yeah,
I like
Carson,
him.
you cannot be married to him,
No.
and he's
Oh no.
kind of old.
No, it's not. There's just.
It's
I
not
don't
that.
know.
Yeah,
But it does a kiss involve something else, like a date, something just a kiss.
just a kiss.
Well, but there's a lot of very romantic kiss between him and Anna, so I just
Yeah,
took Anna's
okay,
place at the moment,
okay.
you know.
Okay.
I have no idea. This is really hard.
Okay, so next, Mary, Tom, and Mrs. Patmore.
I like the diversity. Okay. Oh. I want to marry Mrs. Patmore because
Ooh,
she's a great cook,
yeah.
and maybe she can.
That's the move.
I think then she can teach me how to cook. But not that I just want her to make food for myself. Like we can cook together. She can teach me.
Yeah.
So I think I want to marry Mrs. Patmore. Then who I want? Oh my God. I think I quite want to kiss Mary
Oh my
because
God.
people like I think like people are always
Okay.
attracted to her. I want
Yeah,
to know what
yeah.
it feels like because she's quite of
Okay.
a I think yeah. I'm gonna
Okay.
kill Tom. Sorry, Tom.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
Yeah. I think but I'm gonna be married to Edith. So
CB is now an orphan, but
Oh, shit. Yeah, but she has a house in the south of France, so
good for her. Okay, and last one we have Ivy, Mrs. Crowley, and Gwen. I don't know where that comes from, but that
where that comes from.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I probably wants to. I mean, she's quite annoying sometimes, but I think I want to marry Isabel because you can
Okay.
have really great conversation,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
sometimes I don't sometimes agree with her, but I think we can have a relationship a bit like she has with Violet sometimes. So it could be quite fun actually.
Okay.
And then, I'm gonna kiss Gwen, but being married to Gwen would be quite nice. Yeah, now I'm gonna kill Gwen. I'm gonna kill Ivy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I
That-
agree.
that-
I
where-
agree.
where
I
did
think
that
I
come
agree
from?
with that. That's
No, I
okay.
love
That was
Isabella.
a good choice.
I
That
love
was good
Isabel.
choices.
And then we can have tea at Violet all the time. That could be pretty nice. There were
Okay.
there were no Cora in you, and you
No,
knew
no,
that
no,
would.
I wouldn't do that because I
Well,
know
you knew
the
I would have
answer.
never killed her. I almost killed Robert
Never.
actually, but
Okay,
that was
so
difficult. Maybe if tomorrow I would like, oh, maybe I would have not answered
yeah,
that way.
you're not gonna sleep tonight and like think about, oh my god, I killed Robert.
I haven't killed Robert. I killed Thomas.
Almost.
But I'm probably gonna kill Robert because I'm gonna marry to him. He's so annoying sometimes. I'm like, "Ugh," you know. But
Okay, so second little game, which
Yeah.
I don't know how to really explain, but I'm gonna give you two names of two characters. You're gonna have to choose one, and then we're gonna keep the one you choose, and I'm gonna add like another one, and you're gonna have to choose,
choose and okay.
and again and again.
Okay,
and
okay,
again,
okay.
So, Edith or Mary?
Edith.
Edith or Tom?
Edith.
Edith or Sybil?
Edith.
Edith or Matthew?
Edith.
Edith or Mrs. Patmore?
Mrs. Patmore.
Okay. Mrs. Patmore or Henry?
Mrs. Patmore. Like, why would I just Henry?
Mrs. Patmore or Robert?
Robert.
Robert or Cora?
Oh, Cora.
Cora or Daisy?
Cora.
Cora or Carson? Well, that's gonna be Cora until the end of time.
Cora.
Cora or Mr. Bates? Let's try it. Cora or your mother? Maybe.
Well,
Cora? No.
it's a game. I can say Cora.
Okay, so we're done with this second game because Cora is already like obviously winning. I should have not done that and put Cora in the game like I did in the first
Well,
game.
and you did Cora versus Robert, so I chose Cora. But Robert could have gone very far.
Cora, yeah, I know. Okay, so I do have a last question about like unpopular opinions.
Okay.
Do you have anything that you particularly like but other people don't, like the whole world don't?
I have things actually I changed my mind, but like one of the first things about Mary and Henry, I know that a lot of people didn't like him at first. Like
I
really
don't like
never.
Henry.
And I'm gonna say when I watched season 6, I quite like him. I thought that if Mary had to marry someone, he was my favorite.
Okay.
But now
I was a Mr. Blake.
I think that Mr. Blake was too early.
Yeah.
For her.
I get
in
it.
time, you know. So maybe if Mr. Blake arrived at season 6, but I think just after Matthew died, he was too forward, too like new.
Yeah.
Tony Gilligan was like, no, don't go there. But yeah, I quite actually because I think they're quite alike, Henry and Mary actually. And yeah, but then second movie I was like, hell no, I hate you. So that was one. Another one is I do not hate Mary's haircut in the first film. I know people hate it.
She had long hair?
No, she has like a bob, but like it comes like that, and she has like a fringe.
In the first season?
In the first, in the first movie.
Okay, yeah.
I like.
I don't think I liked it.
I liked it because I
agree.
think it goes well with her character. Like it's very strong and positioned. Like I don't know, I quite liked it.
I see what you mean.
I think
Didn't she have that haircut in season 6?
No, in season 6 it's just a bob, but but in the first film she has a fringe.
Okay.
With it, like I quite like it, and because I think it goes well with her voice, and it's funny because it's about something else. But I remember when the second Fantastic Beasts movie came out, Tina's character has the same haircut, and people were like, "Oh, I hate that haircut." And it's only because the movies are set in the same year.
So that's very accurate.
So it's like it was the fashion.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I quite like her haircut. And then I think one of people are going to hate me. I think, but I quite like season 2. I'm a Cobra shipper, and I love it because I think it's that one of the only seasons where every character has a storyline where as you feel like they're all in the season because there's so many things happening. I think it was very interesting. I loved it because Mary and Edith, they grew up so much and they didn't hate each other as much. And weirdly, I quite like the whole thing we went through with Cora and Robert. Like the Spanish flu episode is really hard, but at the same time I love it. Like,
Oh my god. Okay.
yeah.
What? You like that? Oh my god. Oh, see, I'm trying not to judge because, you know.
I don't know, but
I just remembered what happened.
yeah. No, I don't get me wrong. I love Robert and the whole Jane situation. I want to like punch him in the face for that. But I'm not as
You're a member of Robert Apologies, like. I don't even know how it's called.
Yeah, it's called the Robert Apologies Society. Yeah, and I was talking about it with someone on Tumblr. Said, "Oh well, welcome to the Robert Apologies Society."
So that means you like Robert so much, so you like.
I just think I'm not saying
Forgive him.
I have forgiven him for season 2. Weirdly, it was harder for me to forgive him about season 5 and the Breaker storyline than for season 2.
He was really.
But I think what I love was his whole journey through depression.
Right.
That if you don't really watch deep, you don't see that. But through season 2, he's really deep in depression. You can see it. And at the same time, you have Cora, who usually was the one that always cheered him up, that he's completely in the hole. And she has found a new purpose now. So they kind of have their life apart at that moment. And at the same time, you have Cora, who tries to like, deal with Mary because of the Richard situation and the Pamuk one.
Yeah.
And so it feels like they all have, they do not share it.
Yeah.
I quite like the angst of this season, really. But Jane, I don't hate Jane. I'm going to say that. I don't hate her because I do believe everything is not actually really her fault.
Yeah.
Robert is more at fault on that than
She
Jane.
looks like a good person, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel very sorry for him. I feel very sorry for Cora. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Well,
She's
if you want to know,
upstairs, but
I talk about it a lot in my podcast. So maybe if you want, just go there.
Yeah, link in description.
Yeah, but I love Robert, so I really love him. That's the
Okay. Any other?
I think that's it.
Can we talk about the behind of you? What's
Behind me?
What's your behind you?
Okay.
Like,
Well,
get us through the collection.
Okay.
'cause-
So, you have the DVDs of the whole show, from season 1 to season 6. That's the DVD of the first movie. That's a cricket board that my sister made, because cricket, very important thing in.
Very, very.
So this, I don't know if you can see it. This is the Boss Baby. So that's just a little like wink. I don't know if we can say that in English, but in French say clin d'œil, to the Twitter community, because someone once said that Hugh, Robert, has the same face as the Boss Baby, and since that person said that, I can't unsee it. And I quite like it because in this, it really looks like Robert, who says to Bates. Oh, yeah. Okay.
There is like light.
Okay.
blocking.
Come here. I don't know if you see it. You see it?
Yeah, better.
He has the same face than Robert when he says to Bates, "Don't forget the cricket." So, yeah, the Boss Baby. So that's a little, if some people are on Twitter, you would know. So that's also the book for Downton Abbey New Era, so the second movie. Okay, then on this side, that's a magazine on Downton Abbey New Era, second movie. Then you have like cooking books or Tea Time and the Downton Abbey,
Yeah.
so you can cook things. I haven't tried it. Now I have read it. It's really beautiful book. I just haven't tried it yet. And this is actually a bit of a joke. Well, I'm going to take it out.
Yeah.
We talked about the Robert Apologies Society, and I said something in my podcast. I thought it sounded quite nice, so I thought I should make badges. So I did something, and I thought it was
That's
funny.
a real society.
Yeah, no, I thought it was funny because it's RAS, so in French you would say RAS, rien à signaler, which in English says nothing to report, and I think it was quite funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, That's just a funny thing. I don't think with that many people in this society. I know there's 2 others on Tumblr that are really great writers in the fandom, but yeah, so
Great.
yeah, that's it. Or do you want me to talk about what kept me up at night?
Oh, if you want to, because you didn't sleep a lot tonight, like last night
And the night before.
and the night before.
It kept me up at night, I mean. And because talking about a scene that I would like to have, and about the whole Bates storyline in season 4, you know, and Anna and all that. And I would have loved them to be involved in someone else's like troubles without them being in trouble. So they had that, you know, you had Bates helping Thomas in with the whole thing about him, you know, and with Jimmy when he kissed Jimmy and all that. So he helped Thomas. But I really wanted to have something where they could be happy, but like helping someone else's. And I thought about what if the whole police situation, like them being arrested, happened to someone from the upstairs.
Oh, wow.
Because that's something I've been thinking about, because I am currently I'm writing a lot of things, but I'm currently writing something, and I made research about that. And I thought it would be interesting, because then it's different, because you have also the whole thing about, we have scandal because of downstairs, but upstairs we like bigger scandal because you know. And so I tried to imagine, and well, don't get me wrong, it's completely far-fetched, my brain is just crazy, but I thought, because I'm a COVID shipper, and what if Robert goes to jail?
Oh my God.
And the reason why it's completely the reason why it's completely fucked up, actually, but just imagine, okay, what if Jane died, but she has been murdered, and so there's an investigation, and they discovered that Robert was giving money to her son. So that's something. And I don't know why, maybe they found things, because sometimes they found things that make him guilty. So that they've maybe found that he had an affair with her. Well, he kissed her 3 times, but, you know. And they thought maybe he killed her so that she won't say a thing, or I don't know. And
maybe she was insisting on him divorcing
something
Cora,
like that.
And he was like, no.
And so he goes to jail. And I had a scene in my mind that just played. I don't even know if it's accurate, like for the characters, but like, so imagine you have the trial, you know, you have the family, the servants, Robert in the like convicted, I mean, you know, like where Bates was, and so obviously they like they talk to a lot of people, and Cora, then she's the one who has to speak. And so you have the whole Jane situation. So first I imagine that, because we know, I think Cora knows about Jane, like, you know, about what she says in season 5, but I think Robert doesn't know if she knows everything. I don't know if they ever talked about it, but just imagine they never really talked. Like, he knows, maybe she knows something, but they never really talked about it after the whole breaker situation. So it's really, if he's really bad, because then his affair, like everyone knows it, so everyone, you know, and his wife, which is like, I think the person he absolutely didn't want to know. And when she's about to speak, so you have always the 2 teams, the one that the prosecutors, and the one that actually defends, and you know. And so obviously the prosecutors, they would try to make her say that, it's really me imagining, and just to make her say that if she knew that he had an affair, like she would leave him or something like that, like, you know, she would be angry. And then she would actually say that she knew. And I had the idea, because I really...
Oh Lord, then she is like...
No, she...
Then they will think it's her.
No, I don't think they will think it's her. Like, that didn't cross my mind. But she said that she knew since the beginning, because it was inspired by recent fiction that, what is the name? I can't remember. Written by O to Be a Lady, about Spanish flu situation, where Cora, at the moment, she just raised from the bed and she wants, I think, to speak to Robert, and she goes to like the door between her room and the dressing room, and that's the moment that he's with Jane, and she hears him say, "I want you with every fiber of my being."
Oh my God.
So she knows. And I have this scene where she said that she knew, but that you know, she would even say that she felt guilty because it's a bit her fault, like she usually does if he went to see someone else, and I don't know. But she thinks that she doesn't, like, she would not have left him or that. And I don't know why, like, in Robert, if he's really bad, and I feel like at first she doesn't want to talk, she doesn't want to, like, you know, tell everything about their private lives to everybody, like the family, especially, and the kids. But on the other hand, you have the one that tries to defend Robert to realize that they love each other, so it's not possible that he would have killed someone, because even if she has spoken, they would still be together.
Yeah.
And so someone would ask her, you know, why why you say you would not have left him or get divorced and all that. And I don't know why I have this in my mind, my brain at night, like them, you know, like they look at, into each other's eyes, like really at the moment no one else's exists, and they're both trying to not cry, and she would just say it, like even then she would even feel like weird for it to say, but she would say it because I love him. And even think about that, I imagine this, and my brain is wild, and I don't know why I pictured it. I was like, I was crying like at 1 a.m, usually, you know, thinking, I was like, oh my god, how strong could it be? And you know, just to tell him, like, I have forgiven you, because he's then going to jail. And I thought about all the things about jail and all that, because I just thought, imagine when she would have to go in prison to talk to him. You know, you can't touch each other. And we know they always like take each other's hands and all that. Like, and for Bates and Anna, it was so hard. But imagine them being married for like 40 years and can't, like, you know, and had lots of tiny scenes. And I have a lot of things with Bates and Anna. Like, I had an idea that one day she would be in Robert's dressing room. I don't know why she would be there, but I don't know, and crying. And Bates would just come because he tries to do something because he can't do anything because his boss is in prison. And he hears her cry, and he would just come because he wants to know if everything's all right. And so you can have like a parallel between that scene and when you know, Robert lost his son, and you know, and he cried, and maybe he would try to comfort her, saying that, you know, he can hang on in jail. But, and I think about so many things. Okay, I'm going to try to make it quick, but like, because Robert is a lord, do you think he has more enemies in jail? Because people will not like him?
That's a really good
That's
question.
something I ask myself, that is it with other people or not? Because I think maybe...
First of all, on the accuracy of the whole story, I don't think they would arrest him right away. They would really need a good, like, real proof.
I think they would have a proof, but someone put it there. Like, someone wants Robert to go to jail.
Because that's something so huge.
A part of me thinks, do you imagine if you have like a policeman that just hates people from their aristocracy? Because
maybe Tom was at the, you know, at the beginning,
someone
he
like
was
really wants
classes.
wants to arrest him much as because he's from the aristocracy. So he goes, and maybe
that's possible.
In jail, once he got into a fight and he's pretty like beaten up because he got into a fight.
Like, oh, there's no one to help you here, right?
And
there is no Lord anymore.
One day, and he's supposed to see Cora and say, she can't see me like that.
My God.
And so he asked, and well, that's me, you know, because it's me, it's my story, I do whatever I want. But, you know, and maybe he has a friend, maybe in the guards, because one, he actually nice because he knows that he's a nice man, or I don't know, you know, like history. And so he asked him to like make people think that he can't have visitors or something like that.
Okay.
And so Cora, she's completely like depressed. And maybe Anna and Bates, they think, oh my God, what if it's something like it happened to them? Because it happened. And so Bates may still have contact in prison, because his Bates always have contact. And he realizes he just doesn't want Cora. So he's the one that goes to see Robert, because like, what the hell are you doing? And I don't know, and imagine, what if Robert just said, well, I couldn't let, and he says Cora instead of saying her ladyship, because he's so in a dark state that he forgets to say the title, when sometimes he does, and they talk, and then Bates just goes to see Cora to tell her that he's all right, and I don't know, and they have all that kind of stuff, and maybe, it's, I don't know, Mary, she talks to Anna, and she's maybe that Anna could speak to Cora, because, you know, you have, Anna, she has been in her place, you know, and so she could speak to her, and she does. And Cora, so how did you do it to like like live. And she said, but I knew he was innocent, so I tried to prove that. And so Cora, she decided that she wants to investigate, but she needs help. So she's going to call Anna because she's the best investigator, and Bates, and then everyone is into it. Because everyone, like
so
from
cool.
downstairs, they all want to be, because they realize that
cool.
it's because Robert's actually, he's the boss of everyone,
Yeah.
but they all love him. And I thought maybe someone that could share stories, like Carson could share something when, maybe not with everyone, but maybe with Mrs. Hughes and Mrs. Patmore, like when he remember when he was like a young man, he married like Cora and Mrs. Patmore, because I'm pretty sure she was already at Downton when Robert was young and when they got married, because it's something that Julian said once. Maybe she can share some stories too, that when he was a young boy, and she was like a kitchen maid and stuff. I don't know, and they can all have, and I don't know why I had a scene where something about little Johnny, that's why I wanted them to already have the baby, Anna and John. Because Cora, one day she will realize that they have a son, and you still have her thing in her mind, but she thinks bad about not having a boy, maybe. I don't know why I had this image of Anna and Bates talking, and Anna saying that she feels really bad for her ladyship, that she still feels bad by not having a boy, because I think she was like, because I think his lordship doesn't really care, like he's happy now. And Bates saying something like, oh no, I don't, he doesn't care, because I think Bates is the one who knows more about Cora and Robert's relationship than anybody else, because of the war. He must have talked to her, to him, and maybe Anna says, go tell that to her, that he said that to, something like that, I don't know, but really intense scenes. And the reunion when Robert like get out of jail.
Oh my god. And
like Bates and Anna.
him.
But I thought, what if there's journalists there? Because it's a big event. It's like the Lord. And there's a lot of photographers, but Cora that much doesn't care. And so she comes and like they hug and they kiss. And it's Robert says, are you like, what people would say, we're going to say like our faces in the newspapers, like, I don't care, like. And then, they would come back to Downton together, and then he would say even thank you to downstairs because they can help. And then I don't know, and it would be really sweet and really cute.
Really good story.
Actually, my idea first, we completely fast-fetched, is like it's Simon Breaker who actually made a plan so that Robert could go to jail and he could get Cora.
Oh my
but because,
god.
But
would you get a death sentence for a murder?
I don't know, because death sentence, I think Bates, because they thought it was they were like he planned it, and I think that's they kind of argue on that it was not premeditation, so maybe he didn't have death sentence, just prison. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's just because I've read something recently that I've read many times, and Simon Breaker is a true sociopath. It's funny, in a lot of the story he becomes a true sociopath. It's about like if what happens to Anna in season 4 happens to Cora in season 5, but with Simon Breaker. And so you have this scene where she is at the bar and she's supposed to testify, but it's so hard because the guy just tried to make her. The prosecutor tries to make her say things, like to make her feel wrong. And Robert is here trying to not punch the guy, saying, "Oh my God, what the like really?" And I had this scene, and my mind went wide and created that thing that I just said.
Okay,
Basically, I love something between Anna and Bates and Cora and Robert, because I think that Bates knows so much more about their relationship. Like, I think he back then he was jealous when they were at war, because with Vera he wasn't very nice, and then Robert had Cora, like, and now that he has Anna, he feels like he has a bit of what Robert always talked about, And I think I love seeing that, because we never saw when Cora really warmed up to Bates, because at first she didn't like him. So I don't know. And like I said, my
should write the whole thing.
So
you don't forget, and maybe better it or
I'm not
detail it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can write that. I'm not
You
as
can.
good. I'm not as good as the
try.
I'm not as good as the people who write fiction. Like
You can try.
I don't know. They do much to detail, and writing in
Yeah,
another
so
language.
much to do. I understand.
And writing in another language is really hard. I don't know how they do it. And the whole thing about writing about historical thing, like it's not the same way that you write, because it's
that's
set.
that's the complicated
and the
part.
timeline, I don't know what
The
to put. It's just my
dialogue.
mind. It's an idea of how my mind went wide.
Okay.
Can go wide, because
See you in 2 days for another fan fiction of
well, I
Sleepless
still have
Nights
my
with Emma.
fucked up crossover. Maybe I will talk about that one day, but not now. Oh God.
Okay.
Whew. Well, that's it. To talk about Downton Abbey. for 2 hours. This is basically what I do all the time, so doesn't change much. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope my questions were like interesting.
I think it was. But you can answer some of the question if you want in the comments. And well, if you liked it, please leave a comment to tell me that you liked it, because it's always nice when someone says, "Hey, that was fun." Yeah, so that was the end for this episode, and there will be others.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I already have ideas for November and ideas for December, but I don't know if I want to do something Christmassy or something around Taylor Swift, because December it's Taylor Swift's birthday. So if you do have ideas or things you want to see or things that you want me to talk about, please just share, because I have ideas, but it's best if people want to listen and
or like in the Christmas theme or Taylor Swift theme, is there like a subject specifically?
Or something completely different.
Totally.
Just say if you want me to have guests, and tell me if you want me to speak English or French. That's the only 2 languages I can speak approximately good. Approximately well. Don't ask me in German, because that would not be very long.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be nice. And so I will let our Downton friends close this episode. And so about actually all those little clips that I put, if you want to tell me, I would really like if you would tell me if you know like all the extract, like who characters is who from my intro and my outro. That could be fun, and I will give the answer in the next episode, because so like I said, I will let them close the episode, and I will see you soon for another
one. Another subject, another background, another obsession, maybe.
Until then, stay safe and take care, and well, bye.
Bye.
Perhaps you can keep the lights off.
Oh, ye of little faith.
There is not now, nor ever will be, anything you have spoiled for me.
And who can argue with that?
The end.